So this is the Rat edition. I mean, there isn't another edition, but this is the VFX Editor tutorial. To get it, you need to search Jab Marvel Rivals VFX Editor. And you'll see this one made by Saturn. Straightforward. Go to the releases and you download. There are some helpful insights in the descriptions. And if your thing doesn't launch, you probably need to download this. I highly suggest, if you want to use the app, that you actually extract it. It ensures functionality, period. All right. Now that you got your tool open, you gotta first set it up. So, first thing, go in settings. Here's all your information. Now, I have some files stored, but we're gonna clear them for a first time experience. Now, this is your latest US map. This is to make sure that your game properly reads your files. It automatically gets it, so you don't gotta worry about it. What you do have to do, though, is put in your games directory. So I recommend opening Steam. We go to Browse Local Files, Marvel Game, Marvel Content Packs, and you do not choose Mods folder. You're just going to copy this. So in your VFX editor, you can browse, and you just paste it. After you selected Packs folder, you ideally choose your app UI scale. If you're like me and you like small things, go for 80. Or if you have a giant monitor, feel free to use 125%. But for this tutorial, I want everything to be nice and visible, so I'm going to use 80. We're going to do a random hero. We're able to browse VFX. In the browsing, there's two options: VFX Materials and KO Prompt. Between the two, they work identically. I will quickly demonstrate what it looks like when you're in the KO Prompt, but everything you do in VFX Materials, which we will be focusing on, is identical. If you look here, I'm going to load Jubilees because I feel like we should work on the newest character for today. You'll see that in a second, when we go into VFX Materials, it looks identical. So if you want to go back, you hold this little button, Browse Hero VFX, and we're going to select Jubilee again, load VFX Materials. It's going to take a second to load. And bam, we got what is essentially a glorified version of the KO prompt. As you can see, just a little more data. So what I highly recommend doing is you just select everything. This generalizes the process and makes everyone able to just make a quick recolor. Brief overview, this lovely little global controls on the left. So single color, straightforward, every color is going to look the same. So I'm going to demonstrate two features at once because we have the time for it. So say I like red and I want red Jubilee. I play. Now every color is red. It's not really unique, but oh no, it doesn't look as great as I wanted. You can undo and bam, everything's returned. But say I like it. Bam, you can redo. Or if you've done a fuck ton of steps and you just want to go back to where you started, press reset and poof. Some might say you're back to the caveman ages. It's not even modded anymore. But in all seriousness, the hue shift just changes it from its current position. So instead of applying a single color, we can change everything. Let's do a good 180 degrees. As you can see, overall, it doesn't exactly look like Jubilee anymore. Color shuffle is what we're going to be using. So let's make her pink, because pink's a nice color. Make it bright, make it dark. Let's add another dark, make it more dark. Okay, awesome. Now to apply my shuffle, and bam! Now all my colors are just as I need them. But what if the game updates and I don't want to do this again? Well, no worries. You're able to save this. So, in here you can type, let's say I want to name it Jubilee Pink Mod. Then we press this and save. Now if we check in my downloads. I saved it in my mods folder, didn't I? Yeah. The main thing is you can store this wherever, but I'm gonna put it in my mods folder because that's easy access. And let's reset this so you can see this is where we started. And now if I import it from my mods folder, that is, it goes right back where it was. A quick side note before we finish the mod is, while everything may seem perfect, there are still some slight requirements. However, that will not be covered in this section of the video. It will only be covered in the advanced version. Now back to our mod. We need to actually put it in the game. So, once you've made your modifications and you're happy with it, you can save your asset, choose your folder location that you desire, and you select folder. Within just a few seconds, you will get your full export right in front of you. Now, I highly recommend you go in the description and grab a copy of Repack X if you have not, as that is what we will be using to package this mod. Now, I already have a copy of my Repack X lying around, so all I'll be doing is dropping Repack X in Rivals. Let's name it Pink Jubilee. Install mod, and bam. Now you can see your mod in all its glory is available. We're going to go to Steam and we're going to test it out. Now for Jubilee. As you can see, she has beautiful pink bracelets going around her arm now. There is a great degree of what it affects. But what if this isn't as much as you wanted? You'll notice that there is still a lot to be desired. So we are going to now showcase the advanced section of the tutorial. So for the advanced part is going to be a bit more of an in-depth explanation. So feel free to get a notebook because there's a lot, like a lot. First off, I'm going to get the heavy stuff over. So, oh, wrong button. This is definitely the right one. The advanced parser settings. So for most of you, even if you make advanced mods, you won't ever need to touch this. What this does is it allows the tool to actually read the materials, but most of these will be able to do all your standard effects, and you don't ever need to, but if you ever discover something that you'd like to change, this is where you do it. We, however, have no need for this right now. So, next up, preserve intensity. I would highly recommend typically keeping preserve intensity on, as it preserves the darkness or brightness of your current colors. So when you're replacing these, they might become too bright or too dark. Preserve intensity ensures that you will not encounter this issue. However, ignore grayscale in our scenario. These white values. Now, they aren't just white values. Any value from white up until black, that entire gradient is considered a grayscale. All of them are R equals G equals B. Man, I sound like a math teacher. And since we wanted Mod Jubilee, and she has a lot of these, we're going to want to turn ignore grayscale off. Now, alongside the brightness, we have opacity. Brightness is how strong or sometimes intense a color may be. It's not guaranteed, but the same goes for opacity. You have opacity as an option, but using opacity won't always do something. So even if I apply opacity and do it to every single one, I will still see some VFX. However, we're not going for hiding, and in this scenario, we have no use for modifying the opacity. Now, let's say I don't like the colors for step. So let's search by step. What you can see now is it's showing me all parameters with step in it. This is nice, but let's say I want to go even further and I want to select only these top few. So let's make sure to deselect everything. We can select one, and instead of selecting each individually, you hold shift and you press the end, and you can do the exact opposite using alt. So let's go remove up until here. There you go. And now we say, I don't like pressing these buttons, they're small. No worries, there's a solution for that too. If you hold your mouse by left clicking, you're able to drag and select as many as you want. Lastly, let's say we want to do this with anyone that isn't with step in the name. We still don't like step. We type negative. This will show us everyone without step in it. As you saw in our video before, Jubilee has a lot of various colors between green, brown, and red. Let's say we don't like green. We want to get rid of all of green Jubilee of VFX. All we need to do is drag these two sliders, and voila! It will only show you values that are assigned to green. But what if we only want to select the brighter values? In your Luma, you can change the range to show the brightest of all your values. You can also just reset. You additionally have options between showing color, grayscale, and enemy. You can disable them and mix them however you please. And additionally, you have filter by folder. These folders are typically where your default materials are, but if you see one like this, 1064 500, this means it is for a specific costume. So if you're working with a special case where it works for one costume and not another, you're likely to find your solution here. However, almost all of your VFX materials will be under 001. Now, let's quickly make our mod. Now that we've properly discussed how everything works, we're gonna make a really gothic mod. We're gonna make, we want it red. Yeah, let's get that. Oh, right. You can always add more options. Okay, I am ready to make my mod. I want to apply it to all our VFX because I want it to spread through everything. Apply shuffle. Perfect. Now, for Jubilee especially, we found that if you really want that color pop, you can do with some brightness multiplier. So let's go insane. Let's do it by 5 times. We like to live dangerous like that. All you need to do, apply brightness, and bam! Just like that. Now, I feel this mod is ready. But let's say during your journey of making your mod, you found something extraordinary and you'd like to tell the rest of the people. Where would someone do something like that? Well, search no more, because we have something called the Rivals VFX database. I will have to say this might not be the most visible, so probably going to be in the description. Please don't make poor people type out URLs manually. As you can see, this is one of the most used websites. Nexus is lacking a little, but we told them that we won't discriminate. So we let them be. As you can see in our top description here, there is a lot of information. You don't know what this information is? That's fine, because when you are submitting, there is an entire guide on to see what information comes from where. From your hero ID, to description, to what color it is, if there are any texture references or parents, and my favorite, the preview image, because I don't have to go through a tedious process of showing you, and neither do they. because here you go. This user found that by changing one color, they were able to make the VFX for Black Panther pop out. So I changed it to be blue. And the ones you need to change in RVFXE are the Armor 9 ones. Everyone is going to make their own notes. You're able to put your contributor name here so that people will know you're the one, you're the only. Spider-Man? Okay, we don't need more Spider-Man mods. File path. Please don't put your system path in here. This is supposed to be the game path. Now that we've gone over all the boring advanced parts, let's go test out our mod. That's what we've been waiting for. I realized I should put this as a side note because it's one thing I realized the first time I tried making this tutorial. I am doing everything in my downloads folder because it is convenient. You are able to put all of these files that you've made anywhere and they will do all the same. Back to the mod, just drag and drop it in your Repack X. There it is. And my Jubilee mod. Gothic Jubilee. Yeah, that's perfect. What do you think it would be like if cheese had legs? I don't know. I wouldn't want my cheese running away. Test time! Now that we've made our mod, let's see how it looks. Immediately, we can see the gauntlets again. They look fantastic. But, yeah, look at the pretty reds. Okay, do you think Red has done good?